Hello there, it's Rob Tepper, and I am here to share with you what I had promised to share about a week ago, which is to give some additional information and answers to Anne's questions. Oops, not that, that's not Anne. Anne had asked a question in the mentorship group about following up with people who attend IMF workshop but don't purchase, and IMF workshop non-attendees. So great question and good answers provided by Jeff and also by Jaswinder. So I want to run through that with you in a little more detail and then add on some of my own suggestions. So Jeff's suggestions and Jazz's suggestions were both very, very good. And just to run through those real quick, basically we have in the consultant's back office, we have all our offers back here. And if you go into the offers and you go into search, in this case, search for freedom. If you search for IMF, sometimes things don't come up, so I've found that searching for freedom is a good way to do it. And what you have here is these two events, the 1680 and 1682. These are the ones that Jeff had mentioned, and I would recommend before sending anybody to either of these links that you watch the videos and make sure that you understand, because it will allow you to create kind of a bridge video or a bridge email that tells the people, you signed up but you didn't attend. Here's what you can expect when you click on this link. And similarly, this is good for people who attended but didn't buy, for people who bought but didn't show up. There are people who actually buy tickets to the Home Business Summit, but they don't show up at the Home Business Summit. So this webinar right here is basically a replay of the I Am Freedom workshop, and this one here is more similar to the Home Business Summit. Yes, they're both. This one is for people. It's designed for people who signed up but didn't come, and this is for people who came but didn't buy a ticket. So in both cases, it's designed to give you the information and to allow you to continue the process of getting indoctrinated, and either that will take you to the point where you purchase, or where the person will go through the 21 steps because they realize that that's a good option for them since they didn't make it to the event. Or, as Jaswinder suggested, and I'm going to talk a little more about, there's always events coming back to the same city. So keep the list of people who signed up but didn't attend, people who attended but didn't buy a ticket, and people who bought a ticket but didn't actually show up for the Home Business Summit to be able to follow up when the event comes back into town. So Jeff's suggestions were those two offers, 1680 and 1682. Jaswinder talked about following up with people by email and by text message and doing everything that you can to, to let them know that you care about them, that you want to help them. Let's just go through and take a look. Specifically for non-attendees, make attempts through multiple sources, trying with Facebook messaging, with Skype, with texting, with calling. So I totally agree with all of that. And then the non-attendee webinar links that we just talked about that Jeff had brought up. And as I mentioned, there's frequently, in just about every case, once an I Am Freedom workshop comes to that city, it will come back again within about a year, sometimes a lot sooner. So keep those lists of people so that you can then encourage them to attend the next time that it comes to town. And again, as Jaswinder mentioned here, and I mentioned a minute ago, sometimes when people don't make it to the event, you can redirect them and they can go through the 21-step training. So it's really all about your follow-up, and there's nothing absolute. It's all about building a rapport and a relationship with people so that they care about what you're suggesting, right? They have to know how much you care before they care how much you know. Some other good tips that are kind of more general about people who come, who sign up but don't attend either of these events. There's frequently good tips that are being offered in all three of these areas. The Elite Earners trainings, which I encourage you to be on live. They're typically promoted by Matt, by M.O.B.E, by email. But you can also go to mobeaffiliatesupport.com and you will find under training, you'll find training, you find Elite Earners. Under Elite Earners, there's videos, there's 2 a week, and there's always new and useful content coming, and frequently it is content that can help you with I Am Freedom Workshop promotions and even addressing these issues that you mentioned, what to do when people don't attend. That has been covered. There's a lot of very, very useful content on these Elite Earners webinars because these are being made by people that are making money right now. This webinar right here with Mark and Natalie was specifically about promoting I Am Freedom workshops, and they've had a lot of success with that. So I really encourage you and I know that's more general than what we're covering here, but all three of these resources are here for you, and 4 and 5 are specifically only available to mentees, former mentees. So it's an opportunity to get on the Skype group and ask questions with other people that are walking in the same shoes as you. And Morrison's weekly trainings are only for mentees. And again, good opportunity to ask these questions and get a live answer from people that are actively doing this. Okay, and then number 6 is a repeat of what Jaswinder said and I mentioned before, but it's not to be overlooked, and that is that these events continue coming back time and time again. So you've spent the money to generate the lead. Don't let that go to waste. Make sure that you take that opportunity to continue following up until they either tell you they're not interested or they show up. And finally, and this is the one thing that I'm sure that none of you know about and I'm excited about, and that is that there is a new event that's coming. You will be hearing about it through Matt and M.O.B.E very soon, probably within the next couple of weeks. And this is basically, it's another answer to Ann's question, which is, what do you do about people that don't show up? Well, this new event is designed so that we can all leverage our advertising dollars more effectively. And what's going to happen is that in addition to having the I Am Freedom Workshop and the Home Business Summit, about a month after that happens in the same cities, starting in the US, there will be another event. Matt's talking about it being called the Get More Customers Summit or something like that. But it will also start with a 2-hour free event and will then follow a couple of weeks later with a 3-day event. So that gives us all a chance for people that registered for the I Am Freedom Workshop but didn't make it. Now we can send them to this other 2-hour free event, which is only a month later. And similarly, people who may not have been able to come to the Home Business Summit due to a conflict, now they've got another Summit, another 3-day workshop, which will be similar. I don't know exactly how they'll fit together, whether there will ever be a reason for people to come to both, but the biggest benefit for all of us, and something that Matt has mentioned several times in setting this up, is that this will allow all of us who are promoting I Am Freedom workshops to leverage our advertising dollars more effectively, because it'll give us another chance to promote another option to the same people we've already spent money to attract. So the truth is that between Jeff and Jaswinder, they did cover the most important answers that all of you should know in terms of, if you were going to write a standard operating procedure, what should you do? What they suggested is what you should do. But make sure that you're very familiar with the pre-recorded webinars that you're going to send them to before you send them there. And these suggestions I've mentioned to most of you in the past. These are just great resources that are not specifically for answering your question about the IMF, but the I Am Freedom workshops and the Home Business Summits are covered regularly in all 3 of these areas. And this Accelerated Mentorship Skype group is very active. For any of you that have not been active there, you can always go in there and get good answers to these types of questions. Number 6, we've said over and over, but the big news is number 7. Matt's been mentioning it in his weekly staff meetings for the last couple of weeks, and I'm excited about that event, about the formal announcement, and about what that's all going to shape up to look like. So you'll all be hearing more, but I wanted to be the first to let you know about that, to let you know that you should not be slowing down on your advertising of I Am Freedom workshops. It takes, on average, it takes 100 people to register for you to be able to count on making some sales, but it's well worth it, as we all know. Excuse me. It's well worth it, as we know from running the numbers. So I encourage you to continue promoting and continue to learn from your data and to optimize, be working with your traffic coach, and feel free to reach out to me between myself or Cindy. We'll get back to you when you have issues that are not being answered elsewhere. But there's a lot of great resources. I encourage you all to use them. I hope this was helpful, and look forward to hearing about some great progress by all of you. Okay? Rob Tepper, over and out.